This is one of the older buses.
Yeah, but that's not as old as when I was here. That's a more modern. But this was the type of thing they had. This would be 70s even.
Have you got the photo there, Dad?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on. There we go. So.
It's obviously winter time.
If you're in the Australian Army and there is a nuclear explosion, what are you supposed to do?
Oh, I don't know. Pull the curtains and lay flat on the ground.
Is that where you put white paint on the window?
Yeah, something
Tinfoil,
like that. But
hide under the desk.
there was so much ridiculous talked about. I think the Americans took it seriously, and they spent a load of money building atomic-proof bomb shelters. Well, no, they did.
Well, it was all political, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
you had to give the impression that you
Yeah.
would survive and.
Chucking all this money away.
Yeah.
But the stupid part about it, I don't know how many hours, days, weeks, months you've got to stay underground before the atomic radiation clears.
Probably a couple of thousand years, I think.
Absolutely. Anyway, you can rest assured they reckon the cockroaches would survive. So
Yeah. But if there hadn't been nuclear power, if there hadn't been the nuclear weapons, do you think the Russians and the Americans would have fought with conventional weapons? Do you think that? So
No, personally, I don't. There was this great rivalry between capitalism and communism, but I'm sure wise heads would prevail. The Russians didn't take too kindly to the Western Europe, as in the last century they were invaded and occupied 3 times. The Germans occupied them in 1418 war. The White Russians and Britain joined up against that. We fought the Red Russians to stop them going communist. And then, of course, in the Second World War, the Germans killed, it's reputed to be 25 million.
yeah.
Now they're being ringed by Western rockets and bits and pieces, so I can understand why they're a bit nervous, but I hope and pray that common sense will prevail. I know politicians are not that bright, but hopefully there's people within.
Also, the Cold War, that gave you like the Orwellian tension of, oh, we have an enemy, so it helped the capitalists. It also helped, I guess, the Russian government
regime, yeah,
because they had you had the scare,
Yeah.
they're going to fire rockets at us, so
yeah.
I guess they both won out of that.
But as I say, during the war as a youngster, as we lived on the edge of an aerodrome, you'd sort of think, well, is Jerry coming tonight? And at that time, the only good German was a dead one, and this is how propaganda treats you. But after the war, I don't know, about 49 I think, I went on a school holiday to Germany, and I palled up with a with a German lad, Hans Gunther Milbrat, and they were living in pretty dire straits, and they lived right near the Remagen Bridge where the Yanks crossed. The village was quite, I'm desperately trying to think of the name, but that's not that important. And his mother had Hans as a little boy in his system, and his father was a dentist in the German army, and the American lads broke in, and what vexed Hans so much, they stole all his stamp albums. So I hope the Yanks enjoyed it, but that is war. But sadly, a couple of years back, dear Hans Gunther died, and we were friends over 50 years, and the last time I saw him, Chris and I, we went across and met up with him to look around D-Day and Caen and the area there. But as I say, I'm not really con for this enemies or the bad names that one lot of politicians give the other. I think it's rather juvenile, and I wish as a society we'd grow up. Sorry about the politics, folks, but that's the way I am. When I was staying with the Aussies, I was playing football for 137MU on the Wednesday. So I hitchhiked back
So you went from Tikali
From
back
Tikali back to Safi.
back to Safi.
And when you're in uniform, you can nearly always get a lift.
Yeah.
And I was walking, and a colonel with a driver and a very posh army car pulled up. And he, "Where are you going, my man?" And Safi. So, "Hey, well, jump in. You know, welcome. We like
Did you have to salute him?
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
actually. Yeah. But yeah, he was a real old toff,
Well, that was good of him.
Well, yeah, people are people, and
So you got a first class ticket back.
Yeah, I got first. Yeah.
How long were you with the Aussies for?
A week.
A week. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. It wasn't
I
so
was
long.
only there this week for this ground combat training and lecture on how not to commit suicide when the bomb drops, but which everybody knew, It was a bit sad really, because the poor chap had the job of trying to explain, and actually probably the IQ of most of the blokes who were listening was higher than the poor beggar got the job of telling us what to do.
Health and safety hasn't really changed over the years, has it?
No. This T11 Vampire I probably worked on. We modified just over 200 of these at Marshall's. We fitted a couple of injection seats, and I know the man who did the injection seats, and I know the man who did the canopy.
What year were you working on these?
56, somewhere like that.
56.
Ken Mortar did the canopy.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Uncle Ken.
Ken Mortar, Sadie's did it. And Tommy Rourke did the front screen.
Yeah.
And because that's a wooden fuselage. That's all wooden.
It's wooden. Why was it wooden?
Well,
is that radar?
Why not? No. They're very successful. The Mosquito was wooden. The derivative to these was the Venom.
The Venom.
Yeah, and they were wooden fuselages as well.
So what did you work on with these?
Well, I didn't have much to do with these, but one job I did used to do, if you point the camera down there, you'll see a little black thing sticking down. Alright? You can see that thing sticking down.
What, that little wing thing, that thing?
That is so you could jettison your fuel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Boy, I happened to get involved because I was mostly on the Venoms, but
back to. Is it a familiar smell?
Yeah, kites do smell. Yeah, I was down Masters Lock with the Sunderlands. I got photographs of Sunderland flying boats. But we're better show. When I was 18, you had to think of.
There we go.
There's the old Sunderlands. They used to come every year. Masters Lock.
Oh yeah.
That's me. 18 years old. I'm now 80. And there's Sunderland flying boats. We used to come here every year. From Pembroke Dock, I used to come from Pembroke Dock and spend several weeks on. And I was so fortunate, I got a lift home from Masters Lock to Pembroke Dock, and that took 11.5 hours. But in there, they're double decker, and you could fry bacon. You got what we call a wardroom, and you could fry bacon and eggs, and but we used to go and sit in the co-pilot's seat, and they'd fit the thing, and we pretend to drive,
So how long were you here for?
Well, near enough 18 months, but I used to go. I spent time in Egypt, and I was posted from over to Libya for a time. I was with the French in Tunisia, and I was in Iraq, a place called Habania. So I was a mobile repair party, so we'd go, a week, 5 weeks, 4 weeks. But majority, obviously, my base was on Malta.
Right.
Yeah. And this is my son Dan, and we tried to find any remains of the old Camp Safi. But we found 3 or 4 old huts. And Tikali The Australians were there when I was there.
I have a lot of people coming over showing me pictures in Safi.
Have you?
Yep. They're showing me the pictures where they used to go drinking over there. That we
Yeah, oh man, yeah.
So
We used to go up the Zaria. There's, I got a photograph of.
What, Safi?
Yeah, when it was in Dawn Gear. But some of it.
Well, tell me that's where they had all their drinking and so on.
Well, yeah, the gut was where the
Valletta. We went and saw. That was our first day trip to Valletta. The gut, which runs, it's straight street. It runs parallel to the main street.
That's the camp.
Right.
That's Safi Church. That's the cookhouse. I've also got some photographs of the hangar.
How was it in Valletta? I haven't been there for a while now. It's nice.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's all very touristy, gentrified.
Right.
They've still got some of the old signs from when it was
When
like
it
the
was-
drinking route.
Ladies and of the
Yes,
night.
there's a lot of
This is
stuff going on there.
this is Safi. There's an Australian vampire there, and bullfighter, what we used to use for targets with. And now the Shackletons, we were changing all from Shackletons, from Lancasters to Shackletons.
You've got some of the wee models in the back there as well.
Have I?
Obviously, then you've got
Yeah.
the planes and everything.
I was so fortunate, I mean an 18-year-old kid, people give their eyes teeth to flying around us.
Some of these planes have been flown at. No, I mean, look, they can fly them at the moment.
I don't know what length, I think there's one, there's one here. We smashed no end up. We smashed all these, and the brand new Merlin engines. Safi was 2 maintenance units. 137, which was the engineering side, and 397 was the stores. And we had all the stores pretty much for most of the stuff in the Middle East. Well, and like Egypt, most of the stuff in Egypt was lighter stuff. They didn't have. Although that's another thing people don't realise. You probably wouldn't, but a B-29, the old super fortresses, that people don't realise it, but the RAF had some super fortresses that fade in Egypt. You wouldn't understand, but if I've won money on that, because I casually say, well, because the RAF had super fortresses. Oh no, they didn't. And then I pull out a photograph.
That place, I wonder if he's around. Right.
This is Dakota, first aircraft I ever flew in.
Where was that flight?
I flew from Blackbush in southern England, and we landed at Nice, and we topped up, and not Nice, we at engaged brain in Lyon, and we topped up. We only went as far as Nice, topped up again, which is on that sort of on the beach there, and we flew across to Corsica, and it's a funny little airfield there. The sea laps one side and there's mountains the other side, and we filled up from 45-gallon drums and a hand pump.
Yeah.
And then we went from there on to Lucca, and we spent the night in Lucca, and then we took off in the morning and went across to Libya, a airfield called Idris, and that's called, oh goodness, that was named after Dozy Mussolini. I was trying to think, El Benito, no, anyway. And from there we took off and flew along Libya and approaching Egypt, and we landed at a place called El Adam and filled up there, or topped up at El Adam. That was right in the desert really, there was nothing going for it. Just a cross in the desert, 2 runways and the buildings. And then we went there and we finally landed at Fade. I forget what I flew back from there to. We used to use a lot of Vallettas, we called them pigs. We used to do one called Conflight at
the communications.
Yeah, we had an Anson and a decoder. Could have been a Mlata as well. Were you alive when Lord Louis Mountbatten's Lava Elect crashed near Simmons Fast and Sis Brewery?
Yeah, well, I've got photos of it. I remember it through photos.
Well, I went to help to pick it up.
That's 1949 though.
Yeah, bit before my time.
So these are photos from Safi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is actually RAF Safi there on the truck.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
What's there?
Yeah, there's the
Just a
Romney
few
hut, one Romney hut.
There were 4 Romney huts. No, Nissen huts. Behind me, exactly the next block.
They destroyed when they built the school.
Yeah, I got photograph of our camp with a cooker. They were good ball players, but we were rough and crude. You know, you couldn't beat them on skill.
British.
Yeah, you couldn't beat them on skill. But the football pitch, it was all rock.
Yeah, of
And
course. No
Kirkop Church was just over the wall. from
Yes,
where we
yes.
were.
That's exactly where I built my house.
Did you?
In the middle of the ground, of the pitch.
Did you? Well, you'll be ashamed of yourself.
There's still one, because there was 3 pitches there. One for the hockey,
Yeah.
with the wood, I remember, around it. 10-inch wood, you remember that?
No, they did.
There was the
they did a lot of
football and
it.
something else, like
There was a girl, Maria, used to have a pram,
Maria. That's
and she, well, there's a lot of Marias
that's my
involved.
my mother-in-law,
And,
Maria Kirkhoff.
she used to have a,
And
she
the
used to
pram might be my wife.
have a pram with all drinks in,
Oh, I
cold
see.
drinks. And Maria used to come, she used to say, you want.
Maria Taboromna then, because she is the most business-minded in the whole
Yeah.
village.
Marietta Borough.
And another thing they used to do, when you was on guard,
Mm.
they'd bring the shorts out. And what I used, because the shack, when we had the shacks, I used to nick a key and get the key and get up and sit up there, and you could see Chiefy or anybody go, and you'd see the Maltese youngsters bring their old shorts down to,
Nice.
oh, good luck to them, you know.